And welcome to the show. My name is Naeem Sharif. This is the Al-Islam and Community Issues program. And we stress community issues. We like to bring things to the community to let them know what's happening. We want to make our contribution. Today our special guest is Brother Jamar Smiley and Brother Benjamin Shabazz. Brother Benjamin Shabazz, if you will open us up in prayer.
Okay. With the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful, all the praises belong to Allah, Lord of all systems of knowledge. We ask you, O Allah, to bless this show with success and plenty of good knowledge. Ameen.
Amen. Amen. Oh, with that, man, I feel real good, man, real good. Last show we talked about, well, this is part 2 of nutrition, body and soul. And we had a lot of information on the last show. And Brother Jamar Smiley did, some of his spoken word. So with that, brother, we're going to go with part 2 and go ahead and knock it out the park.
Oh, man. All right. They say I'm African. The best of the best, but only half a man. It's funny how half of a man could be the master of land and sea and time and space and civilization. You can find pieces of me with the Mayans, the Aztecs, Egypt and China, from Nubia to Russia to Azerbaijan. And as I bounce from forest to forest, giving myself until every corner of the world has a survival care package wrapped tight and bundled from me, they set fire to my land, name it their own, and call me the savage, the jungle bunny. They say I'm American. I guess because America is stolen. As I am taken from my land with the spear that I'm holding and a head full of feathers, trapped on a boat that is headed to a land full of man-made endeavors. And I arrive on this land to be greeted by the hand of a man with a head full of feathers. Known to the people, native to this land, whipped and chained to split and vein this land into pieces. The forest becomes alive as animals run and hide. The river turns into red and red crackles the sky. The white man has arrived. This land, so bright with hope, turns blue. The mountains no longer sing. They cry in desperation as I am beaten and bonded to the brothers of my skin. But I am native to creation. So my art form is craft. And Pocahontas makes the paint from all the colors of the wind. They say I'm black, blacker than a scarab, blacker than infection and direction that'll scare us in the darkness, etch us out the history and time where the centerpiece of centuries of mysteries and lines defined by the statues and obelisk, molded from alabaster, inspired by the gods of creation. Fuses and sparks create passion and arts, conducting a synergy of energies that pass through the towers and pyramids, charging civilizations. But this darkness, the darkness that I'm in, the darkness woven deep into the patches of my skin, is darker than the blackest of plague nights. It happens to lay right in the middle of death, in the back in the plain sight. This darkness you fear is the end. They are scared of my very existence. And so my first breath sparks the outcome. Born in a city of death, full of no hope, my blessings will go broke. Even if a boy gets handed a plate from the man of the state, stating, yes, we can. Because after every death I stand, the yes starts to doubt some. And no matter where I go, from coast to farm, I boast my charm as bad luck rains down on my coat of arms, and a life full of peace is just mostly harm, because a full life is death at 19 or 7, graduating from school and running back to moms, or skipping around the church, numbing out the mobs of pigs and clan members coming out to bomb you, covered up by the hood, my hands up in the sky, write a message to God, my plan is not to die. I wonder if I can sing and dance about this lie. I'm hoping it's not my night to answer to Allah. My pants slide to the ground, I move. And so my next breath sparks the outcome. Get rid of the gun, chalk the side of the body, cover it up with sand. Now X marks the Malcolm. Till we are scared of our own existence. scared of being strong-minded, outspoken super beings, full of imagination and originality. We went from keeping it real to keeping it at bay, and now we wade in the waters of reality. The reality is, we take pride in our freedom after 8 hours of slavery, Monday through Friday, only to support and embrace our youth as they entertain the white world by destroying all the best of our culture. And we join in, singing and dancing, breaking and popping, big and small booties, shaking and thotting, doing everything we can to play our part in coonish scenes. We take pride in being woke, but ashamed by the thought of being the answer to the question, how could Martin lose a dream? They say I'm African American and blacker than a scarab, and these crackers try and trap us for our passion and our heritage, so I must be something worth living for. Well, I am the son of Oshun and Osiris. My iris bends the earth and universe at the blink of my eyelids. So how am I dying? How is my history aging? Am I crazy, or do you hear what I'm saying? I am creation, you are creation, and we make a seed that'll breathe out the nation. The life of the womb gives life to the lung, and the life of the seed brings life to the drum, and the life of the drum gives light to the sky, and the sky gives light for nature to provide, and when nature provides, it gives lands, oceans, stars for the darkness, moon for the motion. The light and the darkness was us in the making, so that means you and me, and we are creation. We even gave birth to this nation. Now, take notice, because as soon as you know this, as soon as you live it and breathe it and show this, they say you're a threat to the nation, destroying communities, attacking them, and scaring them. So will you take back all your freedom, create your own universe, or will you stay black or African American?
Oh, man.
How was that for an opener?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that was not lightweight. As they say, that was back in the 60s. That was heavy, brother. That was heavy. That's a lot to digest.
Man.
Right on.
Yes, indeed.
It brings the ancestors out. That's all that's important.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, because they have to be brought out. Because I didn't hear no slavery in that. This was I'm up from slavery. We going forward.
Yes.
We seen what we were way back before slavery.
Yeah.
We weren't slaves when we were put in slavery. We were upright people.
What?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
People with people with a history, people with mathematics, geometry,
Yes.
all this kind of stuff.
My grandson said the teacher told him in school that the Greeks invented mathematics.
Okay.
And he said, what about the pyramids? They was here. People don't know how long they've been here.
Yeah.
It was way before the Greeks.
Yeah.
And they had exact math.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
had
they're
to.
still trying to figure it out.
Had
Yeah.
to. Yeah.
But just the fact that they would tell somebody, a child that.
In this day and time.
Well, something you got to know.
Yeah, you got
Something you just got to know.
you got to know.
It's sad.
You
But
got to know.
yeah.
Boy.
So where are we going from here?
Man, I don't know. It's like we could go all kind of ways. I mean, it is good to hear that, because all the stuff, a lot of the stuff that's out in the atmosphere that some of our people are promoting is really detrimental to us, and this is more of it's a wake-up thing, but it's also something soothing and encouraging. I know I was downtown, and it was funny. This Caucasian lady, she was in her BMW with her window down, and she was bumping the rap. And she was bumping it. And it had the N-word. Yeah, it had the N-word and everything. So it was like, okay. And it's like, we're better than this. I mean, we hurt ourselves. It sells. It sells. All you need a beat and say what you want to say. And some of the people who were entertainers, when we were in high school, they would have been like at the Apollo, where they pull you off the thing, because it ain't nothing. It ain't nothing. But some of the stuff sells. You just make it, a little derogatory and so forth and so on. So,
but what is it selling?
What is it selling?
Selling that soul.
What is it selling?
It's like, when in the Bible it talks about Jesus was taken up on the hill by Satan, and Satan says, "I give you all of this.
Right.
You just follow me."
Follow me.
And what did he say? Get behind me, Satan.
Yeah.
But our people don't understand that anymore.
Yeah.
And then people talk about how much money they're gonna make.
Right.
How much money? Well, look what you're doing.
Yeah. Another thing.
Thank you.
Another thing that I go to once in a while. I'm in the high schools and some of the schools, and it hurts your heart when they call each other the N-word every 10 seconds. And it's just like, we came all this way, and you're gonna call yourself by that N-word, and it's like, what was the sacrifice for? So they say, well, I'm trying. It's an endearment, man. It's like, you might, such and such.
No.
It's like, no, man. I mean, even some professors have tried to rationalize that, and it's just heartbreaking, It should be, brother or sister. If you can't go with that, then go with, hey, man, hey, it was at least something, but.
Well, now they got the Asians saying it.
Yes.
The entire Hispanic community saying it.
Yes.
People out of country, some Indians said it. I had to check this dude from Persia because he was like, "Oh, what's up?" I said, "Yo, time out."
Yeah.
I'm not the one. Okay?
Not the one.
It's not happening today.
Not the one.
No. I'll mess this whole block up over something you just tried. So.
Yeah. So it's something, but words like that, gives hope, because as Brother Benjamin and I know, we're trying to pass the baton, what knowledge that we have, and the things that we might have done that were good, but also our mistakes. We're trying to let folks know, the next generation, and generation like that, okay, here's what we did, A, B, C, D. Here's what we did in the Black Panther Party, boom, boom, that worked, that were good. Here's where our mistakes. So you guys run with the good part of it. If it's a free breakfast program, if you have
a diaper program,
free health clinic, sickle cell anemia, all that kind of stuff. If you can take some of that, run with that. Our mistakes, we're gonna let you know our mistakes. Don't run with that. We're not saying that you have to take up arms now. Your weapon now is just what you use, your mind. Your mind. Brother Benjamin.
But you were talking about language in this field here, and the spices and all that kind of stuff. And Imam Warti Muhammad was talking about the same thing about language. He said, words make people. Words make people. And so we say, in the Quran, it says, in the name of Allah. In Arabic, it says, Bismillah. So you can rephrase that and still be correct. And he started using this language with the name of Allah. And he said, why do I say that? Because in the name of Allah is what the tape starts playing in our brain, because we're used to saying in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. And so as soon as you start saying in the name of, the tape clicks on. But when you say with the name of, there's no tape to play. So you get a chance to
reprogram,
absorb some new information. But I want to say this last thing about what a lot of young people, I don't think they realize, is that using these words, these terms, like the N-word, and a female is no longer a woman.
Right.
Use the B word.
She's a B or a hoe.
She's a bad B.
Yeah. So in younger people, this is creating an identity. You know, it used to be like you said, it's brother man, black man, or you know, it was something positive. But now young boys are saying this is what they are. I'm a nigga, you know. And the girl, she's a B or a hoe. And the young girls are taking that on as an identity. This is what I'm trying to say, you know. They've cut themselves off from anything dignified, and they self-proclaimed themselves to be these things. And I think our young people understand that, because I was talking to one and he was saying, well, ain't nobody gonna listen to my song if I don't say these things. You know?
Well, so now I got to be the advocate, you know, for the what they call the devil's advocate. I got to be that person for a minute and say that young people will still say in defense of, oh no, we call ourselves kings and queens now, right? Because they try and use that terminology. But even when they use that terminology, just like you said, for me, it feels like it's faltered. You know, like I ain't never seen Cleopatra twerking. I've never seen that before in my life. In my life, you know, like it's not happening.
Right.
No, but again, where do you go from here?
Well.
You touched one thing that I did like though. You said words have power, and I think that's funny because the late great Dr. Khalid Muhammad, he said one thing that stuck with me so hardcore. He was on a radio station or he was on a TV station. Some white dude was asking him something, and he said, well, do you see yourself as an entertainer? And he goes, no, I give my people motivation, right? He said, he educates my people. He said, I educate my people. But our people are full of passion and spirit and fire, so I give them education and inspiration. And I heard that and I thought, man, that's everything I have to do now. So everything I write or
That's beautiful.
participate in,
That's beautiful.
I hope it's education and inspiration. You know?
Yeah, there was one saying that a lot of times people try to, when they're talking with them, they're trying to impress instead of express.
Right.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's huge.
Ooh.
Man, take that note down for me. Because I want that one.
You got it. You can run with it, brother.
I got a question.
yes.
I got a question now about this N-word. Who created that N-word? And what was the purpose of the N-word?
Well, you know, that's a whole another 30-minute conversation right there.
Well, just give us 30 seconds. Who created it? Where did it come from? And who was it designated for? And what does it mean?
Yeah. So, I mean, there's so many different ways to spin it. Someone on one side could say, oh, well, you know, negus was what it was first. Someone on the other side can say, oh, well, they used it to define us first. You know, someone from another opposing side could say, oh, well, they used it, they dropped it, they picked it back up, or they misinterpreted it. Because in Spanish culture, it's negra, right, or negra. And then actually, in the Filipino culture, it's negra too. And before that, it was necro. And in the Greek culture, it's necro.
And does that mean dead or something?
In Filipino, it's dead.
Yeah.
And in
Greek,
it's death or absence.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And necropolis?
Oh, it's black or absence, yeah.
Necropolis is a graveyard.
Right. Necrophilia is love of the dead.
Necrophilia, yeah. So
Necromancy is the one who dances with the death. Necromancy is the one who dances with death. Yeah.
yeah, so this whole thing is very, 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 very. It's a conniving way of calling us dead up here, and so now we have saying, okay, I'm that.
Right.
I'm a dead person. I can't think on my own. I'm dead. My mentality's dead. You know, I'm willing to be a puppet. That's what I'm trying to say here.
Interesting. We have about 8 minutes or so. Let's see So we did a lot of soul this time. Did a lot of soul. So let's bring in a little body. What would you like to express, just basically about just brief thing about nutrition.
A brief thing about nutrition. Okay, so a brief thing about nutrition, just like a brief thing, not even brief, just something I tell everybody, and anybody who knows me, I tell them this all the time. You got to know first. Like, it doesn't even matter what you do, okay? It doesn't matter what you actually do. I'm not here to tell you what to do. What I'm here for is to let you know that this is what you're doing if you didn't know. If you didn't know it, this is what you're doing right now. And if you do know that and you're doing it on your own accord, you got to deal with that on your own accord, right? So with nutrition, we can even say, there's omnivores, there's herbivores, there's the alkaline people, the vegans, the vegetarians, the meat eaters. There's whatever, the paleo diet, the keto people, whatever. The diets don't matter, how you eating lifestyle. I'm not really focused on that because I'll eat chicken from time to time. I don't touch pork because I like my brain. I don't touch beef unless I know where it came from. And if I touch bison, it's like once a year because bison is seasonal. Deer is seasonal. Turkey is seasonal. So don't eat turkey all the time because turkey is a game bird. So that's why the natives only ate turkey during early October to the end of December. You can't be eating turkey in the middle of March. That's not even you already know that's processed. But fish, certain fishes, I have my own preferences, is what I'm saying.
Right.
But at the same time, I'm aware of what's going to happen if I eat, X, Y, or Z. If I really, 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 really want a hamburger from, a real good hamburger shack where I was having this craving and I thought, man, it's been years since I had this hamburger. Okay, here's my options. Do I eat this hamburger and then have this week of sickness and garbage in my life and I know this whole week's gonna suck for me just because this hamburger is messing up my body? Or is it not worth it? Most times it's not worth it. So with nutrition, if you know what it is that you're taking in your body, if you know what is actually about to happen to yourself when you take whatever it is that you're eating or going through life and whatever it is that you're doing, then you can make the decision for yourself. But the sad thing is people don't even know.
Yeah.
Like most people just don't know. I tell people all the time, don't eat pork, it's horrible. Oh, what about pork loin? You just said pork. What are you talking about? What about pork chops?
Here's the one. I ain't no Muslim.
Right? It's not even about being a Muslim. Don't eat pork, it's horrible. Nobody. If you go to other countries, they don't eat pork until they've been whitewashed essentially. Until they've been colonized by white people, they don't touch pork. You can't go to Africa and say, oh, where's the pork at? There's not even pigs in Africa. There's wild hog in Africa. And you know what they do? They leave the wild hog to go be a wild hog because they already know that hog's disgusting. They already know that. The natives up here didn't even eat pork until they started capturing razorback hogs and then domesticating them and then bringing in other domesticated pigs from England. In England, before the Moors came, the white people was only eating pork because they would live with the pig and the dog, and that's what they'd eat. And we make fun of Asians about eating dog, but back in old Europe, the Europeans used to eat dogs. That's what they used to do. There was so much sickness, they used to piss in the water and throw it in the river. And again, nutrition, right? And just based off of nutrition. If you're gonna do it, know what you're doing.
Know what you're doing.
So then you can make the decision yourself. If I want to go have White Castle right now, I can. You know why? Because I know what's in White Castle. I know White Castle is going to give me a headache. I know White Castle is going to make me groggy for the next 2 days. I know White Castle is going to make me sluggish. I know White Castle is going to give me a bad attitude. I know my system is going to be off if I eat White Castle. But them burgers taste delicious. They melt the cheese and the onion on it just right. And they put a little thing on the bun. And I know the bun is all high fructose corn syrup. So that's going to give me a headache. And I'm going to be foggy in thought. But the burger's delicious. Now, just because that burger's delicious, do I want these 10 things that are gonna happen to me? Is it worth this burger? Absolutely not. However, sometimes, hey, I know fried chicken does this to me, but I'm real hungry right now, and this fried chicken's looking real juicy. Do I eat this fried chicken right now, or do I just cross it off and starve for the next 5 hours? Nah, I'll eat the chicken and then I'll wipe it out later. But again, I have to consciously make that decision.
Right.
Know what you're doing and know what you're taking in so you can consciously make the decision.
Gotcha.
That is the most important thing you can ever do.
Try to make good choices most of the time.
Well,
If you can do it all the time. If you can do it all the time.
Right, and I know you mean well with that phrase, but that phrase has been used and reused and recycled and washed down. Now good choices come down to, oh, well, I can have broccoli, steamed versus having, a fried salad or whatever. But broccoli has no nutritional value.
What?
Brown rice has no nutritional value.
What?
So you can say, oh, I made a good choice. I had brown rice today. Brown rice has no nutritional value.
Yeah, I thought they had brown rice, some broccoli, and some salmon.
No.
Some wild-caught salmon.
No.
You
First
kill-
of all, if you catch salmon right now, then your salmon's too ripe, right? So now it's got different hormones in its body right now. So that means you're eating whatever that salmon is producing. Okay, so that means you just thin out your bones because salmon's in swimming season right now. So they're producing stuff to make sure they're working.
Right.
So now you get thinner bones, which is why I don't ever recommend fish oil. But now you get thinner bones, right? Or you have potential of thinner bones. If you're having a kid and your child, perfect example, they tell pregnant women not to eat fish. Why? Because it's going to make the child have thin bones. That's the reason. That's the actual reason. Look at the things they tell pregnant women not to do. Those are things you probably shouldn't ever do. Don't smoke when you're pregnant. Why? Oh, because smoking causes lung cancer and it messes up stem cells. So if I smoke with this baby, that baby's gonna come out mentally disabled. Okay, so what you're saying is, because I'm an adult, I can withstand it more, but there's one point in my life I'm gonna be mentally disabled.
Wow, we have about a minute or so.
So I'm just gonna say, learn what it is that it is you're doing, so then you can make the decision. And when I say learn, actually know what it is that's going on, because there's so many things that you can just take a minute to read and find out it's garbage. It takes a minute. Like, this is minute information to me.
So where would you go to do the research?
You can Google it now.
Okay.
Like, it's not 2001 anymore. I had to go to the library. I had to go to look at my library account.
You had to go.
In 2010, my library was stacked. 500 books about health, just in 2010 to 2012.
Wow.
I don't have to do that no more. I can just Google it.
All right. Okay.
So Google is amazing,
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah,
Okay, very good.
yeah.
Well, Brother Jamar Smiley, sir, we thank you so much.
Brother, appreciate you, man. I appreciate
Likewise.
Yes, sir, brother.
You. Oh, yes.
Yes, sir. We couldn't do it without you.
I couldn't do it without y'all, man. Okay.
All right, and we're going to find a restaurant where we can actually take you. You're going to let us know where to go.
Well, I'm going to go home because I think my girl's cooking right now, and that's what I'm going to eat.
All right, very good. Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you for watching. Peace and prayers, everybody. Thank you again.
Yes, yes. Peace and Islam, as they say. Now, if there was